यहाँ जनावद पंचायत के हर गांव से लोग बैठे हुए हैं।
It all began with the Janawad Public Hearing. The Mazdoor Kisan Shakti Sangathan, MKSS, held another of its Jan Sunwais on development works in Janawad Panchayat, Kumbalgarh Block, Rajsamand district in April 2001. An embezzlement of 70 lakh rupees was established by the Government Audit team, which investigated the expenditure and works after the Jan Sunwai. What follows is a narrative of the government's efforts at social audit.
इसके अंदर आपको एक-एक कार्य जो 1995 से जो कार्य स्वीकृत हुए हैं, चाहे वो किसी भी योजना के तहत स्वीकृत हुए हों, एक-एक पढ़ के आपको सुनाया जाएगा। जो आंकड़े आपको बताए गए हैं, उन आंकड़ों से आप संतुष्ट हैं अथवा नहीं?
Following a directive of the state government, post the Janawad MKSS Jan Sunwai, that the highest spending panchayat in every samiti or block should hold its own Jan Sunwai to demonstrate what a social audit should be. This highlights the process in the districts of Rajsamand, Bhilwara and Bikaner, where the MKSS and National Campaign for People's Right to Information, NCPRI, are active. The Jan Sunwai has become a vehicle for people's participation in a system of governance, which has so far been controlled and manipulated by people in power. Aimed to unearth corruption and misuse of public funds, the Jan Sunwai was a process introduced and popularized by the MKSS from 1994 onwards in central Rajasthan. The 8 years of struggle of the MKSS to enforce transparency and accountability in rural development works culminated with the Jan Sunwais of Janawad Panchayat in April 2001. This reinforced the need for transparency and people's participation in governance. The ordinary people of Janawad proved once again that social auditing could be easily understood and used as a tool against corruption. But let us look back at the process of MKSS's struggle for right to information in rural Rajasthan. When Keli Bai asked for copies of the accounts of her village panchayat, she asked a simple but revolutionary question. Her question threatened a system of governance that was steeped in opaqueness and corruption. For over 50 years, independent India has witnessed the pocketing of development funds by vested interest and the crippling of development efforts. This was possible because there was no transparency in government spending. It prevented people like Keli Bai from even being acknowledged by the system. Her continual questioning has forced government and panchayats to display information publicly in a manner in which people can access and understand it. The question Keli Bai and her companions raised sought to bring about this change. This was a common question asked by the villagers of central Rajasthan during a series of Jan Sunwais organized by the MKSS in 5 different village panchayats between December 1994 and April 1995. It began with Kot Kirana in Pali district, and 4 other such hearings were organized in the districts of Rajsamand, Ajmer and Bhilwara. These Jan Sunwais marked the beginning of a long but successful struggle that created local history When rural people began asking pertinent questions, demanding transparency and accountability, they began to reclaim development for themselves. The relationship between the government and the ordinary citizens started changing dramatically. Keli Bai and the MKSS fought hard to win what was soon to become an entitlement for every ordinary citizen in Rajasthan. Their long struggle resulted in several institutional changes in the state. December 1996. Through an amendment in the rules of Panchayati Raj Act, citizens in Rajasthan have the right to inspect and take copies of all records of Panchayati Raj bodies, including bills, vouchers and muster rolls, and see what is being done in their name. May 2000. Rajasthan Assembly passes the Right to Information Act. Citizens have the right to obtain copies of all state government documents with a few exceptions. May 2000. Amendments to the existing Panchayati Raj Act were made to facilitate the direct participation of citizens in governance. It is now legal for ward sabhas, assemblies of a particular neighborhood, to audit local government expenditure. These audits were popularized by the MKSS and other organizations in the NCPRI. Between January 1998 and April 2001, 4 more Jan Sunwais on development expenditure were organized by the MKSS, beginning with the Panchayat of Kukarkheda and ending with Janawad in Rajsamand district. These Jan Sunwais exposed corruption and fixed accountability of sarpanches, engineers and other officials involved in the embezzlement of government money. The Janawad Jan Sunwai was a dramatic expose of the magnitude of corruption. Following a public outcry, an investigative committee led by Shri Banna Lal, Deputy Secretary Audit and Accounts, Rajasthan Government, was appointed to start investigation, and the final report was submitted. The Banna Lal Committee proved that 49 out of 141 works in Janawad Panchayat were works that existed only on paper. The committee also established an embezzlement of 70 lakh rupees out of an expenditure of 1.25 crores in 6 years. Based on the Banna Lal Committee report, the Anti-Corruption Department, ACD, Jaipur filed 8 FIRs. Charges were filed against 18 people, including the BDO, several junior engineers, accountants, the Gram Sevak and the Sarpanch. 4 junior engineers and executive engineers were suspended. One of them spent 1 month in jail. Claims for over 23 lakh rupees were to be recovered from them. The Gram Sevak was arrested and spent 1 month in jail. 21 lakh rupees were to be recovered from him. The Sarpanch, Ramlal, was arrested and spent 1 month in jail. Claims of 13 lakh rupees were to be recovered from him. The pension of the BDO, who had retired by then, was withheld. 1 assistant engineer and 1 accountant were suspended. The Janawad disclosures proved that the state government needed to move towards reform and proactively provide information to the people. The Rajasthan government decided to launch a series of Jan Sunwais, some with the help of citizens' organizations and NGOs. There are 3 essential elements for making a public audit possible. The first is the preparation of documents and records for presentation. It entails the proper preparation of a comprehensive list of all the sanctions and expenditure made in the period under audit. The Rajasthan Panchayati Raj rules require that this information be painted on the walls of the Panchayat office. This table of sanctions and expenditure allows citizens to be aware of development work that has taken place in their Panchayat. Any major discrepancy is immediately noticed so that concerned people can ask for detailed documents. For purposes of a social audit, photocopies of all the documents related to the works being audited have to be made available. These would include the bills, vouchers, the labour muster rolls related to the works, the measurement books and the utilization certificates. The presentation, summary sheets of labour and material reveal how much money has been spent on each item and how much each worker has been paid. This forms the basis of the public audit. The second stage is the proactive sharing of this information with the people. All documents of each work, with its summary sheet organized in separate files, is taken to every hamlet and habitation in the Panchayat. The contents are shared and discussed with the residents. Details of the work carried out in that village are read out so that the non-literate are also aware of the expenditure that has been booked. Visits are made to the work site and people who work on the construction are motivated to provide their own information. As the documents are shared, people are encouraged to ask questions and clear up any areas of doubt that may arise. The date and location of the social audit are announced, and people are told they will have to attend and present their points of view if they want them to be recorded and acted upon. The third critical element required to ensure a proper social audit is to make sure that it is held in a public place, in an atmosphere free of fear of retributions and reprisals, to ensure that no one can be silenced or coerced at the Jan Sunwai. The efficacy of the Jan Sunwai is dependent on open democratic debate by placing all the facts in the public domain and reducing the domination of the vested interests. When the administration insists that this process of open debate and public auditing will take place at regular intervals, citizens will find the courage to confront even powerful lobbies, who now have to come to terms with a new mode of democratic decision-making. At points in time, resistance to this process will have to be met with a firm commitment by the administration. In these cases, the administration has to make the effort to get people to feel both confident and comfortable in voicing their angst, grievances and opinion. The true effectiveness of a public audit is lost if the silence of the people is misinterpreted as acquiescence.
वैसे ही इनका मुख्य काम धंधा करना तो बस कम है, चोरी चकारी ज्यादा करता है या दूसरा जो भी धंधा इनका करता है ना।
नहीं, ये गलत बात है साहब आपकी। क्यों? ये गलत बात है। आप कैसे कहते हैं कि चोरी करते, चकारी करते? कौन सी चोरी में हमने डकैती डाली है? हमको पकड़ के आपने हथकड़ी डाला। हमको दिखाइए सर। क्यों? हमको दिखाइए कि हमको वहाँ हमारे को डकैत डाल के हमने धारा डाला और वहाँ ने आपने हमको पकड़ के वहाँ पेश की। क्यों? दागने के लिए हम कहते हैं जहाँ आप 10 बाय 10 देंगे, जहाँ हम 25 बाय 25 लेंगे और हमारी काम में कोई कम पेशी हो जाता है, आपका जूता हमारा सर।
Jan Sunwais have given villagers the opportunity to raise objections, voice opinions and be heard. They have helped mold democratic structures to cater to the poor, and corrupt public practices have been brought into the open. People can therefore be involved in the planning, execution and monitoring of development processes. This has been institutionalized by making social audits in village assemblies called Ward Sabhas and Gram Sabhas compulsory under the law. The change was not easy, but the beginnings of political commitment to the process by the state government has helped contain problems like the disruption of the government Jan Sunwais and attempts to suppress the voice of ordinary citizens.
क्या जुर्म है सरपंच का जो झूठे आंकड़ों से आपका मकान बना के गांव में क्वार्टर दे रहा है और सरकार की स्कीम पूरी करा रहा है? एक जीवन सरपंच है दुनिया।
आप सबको एक बात समझने की आवश्यकता है, सरपंच साहबान को सबको भी, ये व्यवस्था संवैधानिक व्यवस्था हो गई है, जिसको हम पसंद करें या नहीं पसंद करें। अब ये सामाजिक अंकेक्षण होगा, जितना जल्दी हम इस चीजों के बारे में अपने आप को तैयार करें, उतना अपने अधिकार का सही उपयोग कर पाएंगे।
Hopefully, it is the beginning of a new relationship between the government and its citizens. Its success depends on whether sustained public action and government commitment continue to complement each other. Continuing commitment will be its ultimate test.